and welcome to Python Programming for Beginners. In this video, we are going to learn about input function. We are going to cover some input function works. So before we get started, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, you want to go ahead and hit on the subscribe button and also turn on the notification so that anytime we come on board, you can get access and also hear what we have to teach. Okay, so let's get started. So let's proceed to input. So when we talk about input function, what is it? It's simply a function which allows users to enter a value. A function that allows users, those who are using the computer at that moment, it prompts them that, hey sir, can you enter a value here? So let's go back to our drawing board and let me quickly display something right here. So now when you're coding and somebody when the computer prompts you of an input, it will come, let's say, as a box, and it will prompt you like, please enter something, right? The computer now needs you to enter something. Yeah, so it will provide a place that you can enter the request that the question that the computer is asking you. You enter it into the computer. Then it has an inbuilt print function, so it's able to store whatever you type in there into the computer. How is it able to store? Because you cannot use you cannot use the input function properly except you subject it to a variable, so that it will be like you are asking a question in a certain container. So let's say this container is called goat, right? This container is called goat. Forgive my handwriting. And this container called goat, we have put something in it that prompts you to enter something, right? So it will come like this. So it will ask you, enter the name of the goat in football. Then you come and type the name of the goat in football. Then after you have typed the name, you hit your enter. Then what happens that this goat, which is a location, which is a box that inside of it we are telling you or prompting you to enter a value, we will store that value you enter as into this goat. So when, let's say, we ask you and you say that the goat is Messi, right? Let's say anytime we hit print goat or output goat, what will come out is Messi. Do you all understand that? That is how the input function operates. So now let's take an instance. So let's say goods, right? So it first comes with a variable. That means that whatever thing we are we are prompting you to give us. If you answer that question, we store it in a certain box called goods, right? Then let us look at the syntax for input function. So you need to type your input right here, then you break this parenthesis. But you see, most times if you do it just like this, the computer is going to display just a blinking cursor, which is telling you to type something, but normally it doesn't ask you a specific question. So good, and this is blinking, so it's like, it's not fancy, so you want to make it nice. How do you make it nice? There is a way to do it. You bring your quotes here and you ask a question that, who is the GOAT in soccer, right? Then you bring your something like a column, give it a space for it to become nice. Then you say that print. Okay, before we do the print aspect, let us see what we will get. So let's run, and you see it asks you a question expecting you to answer. So who is the GOAT in soccer? Just like here, before we type Messi inside of it, it first prompts you of a question, right? So let's type Messi right over here. Oh, The network is, let me run it again. So let's type Messi over here. And the moment we hit enter, Messi has been stored in a variable called goat. So this goat is now storing Messi because we typed the name of Messi. Okay, let me go back. How do we know? Okay, let's say print goat, right? Oh, sorry. Small. So who is the goat in soccer? And we said the goat name is Messi. You see, in this part, because we didn't add any prints, when we typed, it just stored. It didn't give us any output of the name of the goat or whatever we have stored in the box called goat. But this part, let's see. If I hit enter, you see, messages appeared because I said print goat. So when anytime you are coding, and let's say you get to a place you want to say the name of the goat is Messi, you don't have to necessarily type Messi. You just need to type goat, goat, goat. Why? Because inside of the box called goat, you know that the value inside of goat is Messi, and that is what the input function is used for. It prompts the user to enter something. It prompts the user that can you input something right here. That is one thing about the input function. But now the question is, does the input function always display a specific data type like a string or a value, or it cuts across? Well, the input function doesn't cut across. What it does, that any input that you, any data or whatever that you type as your input, let's say in this case Messi, is stored as a string. If you want us to just confirm this, let us look at this. Prints, if you have not yet watched our previous videos, please make sure you watch so that you understand some of these things. We have already thoughts about the type value there, so that you know what this also means. So this is just returning the type of the value of goods. Okay, so let's run it and see. So who is the goat in soccer? Well, let me say Tere. Tere is the goat in soccer. Yes, in our normal world we know that Tere is a number, but let me hit enter and see. It says that, okay, the next code execute, which is 3, print goat, which is 3. So it means that 3 has been stored in goats. But when we come here to check the type, the data type the goat is, it says that the data type is a string. But the question is, how can the data type be a string? Because we all know that 3 is an integer. Well, the thing is that the input function always return a string function. It return a string data type, please, sorry. That is what it does. It only return a string data type. So whatever you type in as your response, whether it is a float, whether it is a number, whether it is a boolean, it will return as a string. That means that if you want to take your input in other data types, you have to specify to the computer that this value I am taking from my individual, or I am prompting my user to type, it should be a number and not an integer. Oh, sorry, and not a string. And I've already taught all these kind of functions in our previous video. So what do? You just need to, let's say you want it to be an integer, you just need to bring the integer function. So int. Good. So in this way, let's run it again and see our goat in soccer is 4. Now the class has changed to this. So that is one thing you have to take note of, that the input function, it's always return a string value. So if you want a value from your user, which you want the value to be like an integer or a float, then you have to specify to your user that to the computer that this is an integer, or this is a float, or this is a string. For the string, it is just that is the base function, so you don't have to tell the computer to make it. You just have to instruct the computer input. You don't need to specify that it's a string, because by default it retains a string data type. Okay, so in the input function, you have also learned about how to create the input function, and the best way to do it is to put it in a to store it in a variable. And that is one good thing that we have also learned. Before we end this session, let me teach you one last thing that combines inputs and variables, and that is like displaying inputs in print functions. And if you want to display inputs and variables that you have already stored in print functions, we have two ways of displaying them. The first one is using the old method, which is you use a comma to specify. Let's say we have rent, which we said is 100, and we want to display that. We want to make it fancy, like just like we are outputting strings. The rent for this month, okay, for the month, right, is, then we bring comma, right? Yeah. Well, let me try. I don't think we bring comma. No, the comma should be, I think it should be at the back here. Then we say rent. Let me see how this is going to work. Okay, let me run it. Oh, okay, it worked. So the rent for this month is 100. So we just brought comma and we brought rent. So it works. But this is the old method. So in this, you are able to combine strings and also values together. You get it? So let's say after we calculated all the results, if you want to output the results, you just have to write the results here. Let's create some. What am I trying to say? Okay, so we know that rent is 100. So let's say the monthly salary is equal to 5,000, right? Okay, let us modernize it. Instead of we entering the values, we are going to build an app, or let's say a program that will calculate the expenses of people for them. So if we are going to build for others to benefit, then we have to ask them of what they should enter, the amount that they get and the amount that they use. So instead of putting a value there, we can say monthly salary is equal to integer. Then we prompt the user of an input, say input into brackets. Then we tell the user to enter your monthly salary here. Okay, then we say rent, become integer. Then we use the input and we will say that enter your monthly rent here, right? Then we, about groceries, let me just copy this and make modifications. So let's say these are groceries. We say enter your monthly groceries here. All right, then what again, say savings. Say this is savings. Enter your monthly savings here. Savings here. Okay, so at the end, then we will now write a program that says that your expenses, right, your expenses equals rent plus groceries, right? Plus savings. That is what you used. So if you want to know the remaining, what do you have to do? You have to know that remaining will be, I think, monthly salary minus expenses. Do you all agree with me? Yeah. Remaining is equal, we have monthly salary, okay, right here, minus expenses. Please make sure of the data, of the case. It is very case sensitive. So if we want to display the person's expenses and monthly remaining, then we have to say print. Then we bring our, you see, your expenses, or we say you spent. Okay, we can just use this. Your expenses for this month is, then we bring our comma here and we type expenses, just as the person will type, and it will get stored. Then over here we will say print the remaining of your money is, then we print remaining here. Okay, so this is a program that will ask everybody for what the person got every month, what the person used for rent every month, and the groceries the person buys every month, and the savings the person will do every month. And when we get this data from the person, it will now, the program will calculate the expenses and display it to the person. And also, well, and also this display the remaining. So let's run it and see. So enter your monthly salary. So you have 5,000. Then we do enter your monthly rent. We use 200 for rent. Enter your groceries. We use 150 for groceries. Savings, we use about 150, 120 for savings. And we see that your expenses for this month is 740. And we know the remaining of your money, oh sorry, it's supposed to be of your money. So let's just to make it nice, let me just do an empty print here. And what I'm using this empty print to do is to create a line so that we can have a line between these ones and these two, just that we have this here. So there will be these ones and these ones will not come together. So let's run it again and see. Okay, so monthly salary is 5,000. Monthly rent is 200. Groceries 150. And let's say we save 120, right? You see, your expenses for this month is 740. The remaining of your money, what is this? 4530. Okay, 4,530. Yeah, so that is one way to display, but there is a better way to make things nicer. You get it? And this is, we wouldn't use this comma thing again. The modern way of displaying this is what we call the F string. So let's use the F string to do this one and see. With the F string, what you're supposed to do is to bring an F in front of the statement you're going to create, this F right here. And inside of it, your expenses for this month is, you bring curly brackets, right? And you write the expenses inside of it. I hope I'm not making any mistake though. Your expenses for this month is let's see, expenses, and your remaining money for this month is how do we call it? Remaining, right? And I'll show you one of the reasons why this is the best. Let's run it again and see. Okay, okay, 1,000, I get 100, your 120, I get 130. Okay, so your expenses for this month is 250 and your remaining is 650. So it works just as the first one. But this is the case. If we want to add more values in here, we can. But when you're using the comma, it is quite complicated because let's say we want to display the money, the name of the person here. So we can say name is equal to, and know that name returns a string, which is word. So you want to say input into bracket, please enter your name. Please enter your name. Then you make it this way. So we can say, we can change the print statements and consider hello into bracket name, right? Hello into bracket name, and we can actually bring these things into it to make it nice, right? To bracket name. Your expenses for this month is USD. We can say that can say also something like that. Also, your remaining, also, I mean, the remaining money is, then you bring the remaining there. You can bring full stop here. Yeah. So now let's try to run this and see. So what is your name? Well done. Eve. Enter your monthly salary, which is 5,000. Enter your monthly rent, which is 100. Enter your groceries. I use 200. Enter your savings. Let's say I save 500. Say hello, Yvette. Your expenses for this month is 800 USD. Also, the remaining of your money is this, just simple as that. So the advantage of this over the first one, that we have to use comments like print into bracket. Let's say we wanted to say hello. If we had to say name, I mean, it's going to be a little bit rascal because you have to bring the name here. Name. And if you want to continue, what do? Do you bring this to say your expenses was, then you come here, you bring another comma, then you type expenses this way. Before, if you want to display this, I mean, this is kind of I mean, it's kind of, oh sorry, the comma should be here. It's kind of create, destroy, create, destroy, create, destroy. I don't even know if this is going to work. But with this, it gives you the flexibilities to display the containers inside of this bracket, curly brackets. You just have to use the F string, and it is a modern one that has come over here. So that is it about inputs as well, and thank you for staying with me. That is how we code. You get time, make mistakes, correct them. And in this series, I broke everything down. I took my time to code, and as I would in normal life, and not to rush things through to make everything right. No, I made you see the potentials and everything that you have to know about coding. And thank you for staying with me. If you have any any question, kindly drop it in the comments. And if you have any problem regarding your code, kindly drop it in the comments. And I want to specially reward some people, and these people that I want to specially reward are people who can tweak and twist this code to create something very great other than what you have displayed here. I mean, you can take school and you can create anything. After you create it, just put it in the comment section or send it to my DM. I think the comment section is better. Just put in the comment section. I will come and see who did the most, and I will make sure to congratulate the person and give the gift that I have to the person. Thank you. And if you have not subscribed this channel, kindly go ahead and subscribe, turn on the notification. The next session that we'll come and deal with some pretty good stuff, and we will go ahead and create our calculator. You'll be able to create your own calculator and I mean show it to friends, use it to play. And that's how coding is. It's kind of complicated, so you want to play with it, be fun with it. That's how it's supposed to be. See you in my next video. Bye bye.